But here in our diocese, which is the state of Delaware and Maryland's Eastern Shore, so in Maryland and Delaware, both states have been discussing physician-assisted suicide. That's been the law in Canada for years. Can you just take a few minutes and touch on how physician-assisted suicide has affected Canadians?
Sure. So physician-assisted suicide involves the patient requesting death from their medical provider. I'm very clear with my patients that I don't kill them and that I will not be involved. They are welcome to seek these out through any other methods. And it's very easy for them to get in Canada, although there are supposed to be safety checks involved. It's quite easy for someone to get this. From personal experience and professional experience, a lot of these requests for medically assisted death are rooted in hopelessness, are rooted in fear, are rooted in suffering. So what I think we need to pursue and what we should push for as Catholic practitioners and providers and as people who believe in the sanctity of life is better palliative care. Palliative care provides comfort-based care, does not kill the patient, and accompanies them as they suffer by trying to ease their suffering. So for example, if a patient I have is in intolerable pain, then palliative care will treat the pain and will treat it in an ethical way that protects the dignity of the patient and also does not directly cause their death. So I highly recommend that people advocate for palliative care. I don't think safety checks or checks and balances in a system where you have euthanasia or MAID are very effective. In our situation, they haven't been. There's been abuses of the system, a lot of loneliness and hopelessness, unfortunately. There are people that are truly suffering. There are people that are experiencing immense hardships, especially at the end of life. But the answer is not death. The answer is accompaniment. The answer is palliative care. And the answer is good quality medical care from all aspects. So it's the social care, the emotional, the spiritual, and the physical, all coming together to help this person at the end of life. So I could do a whole episode with you on this, Bob, but we'll let this go, and we'll certainly keep you in our prayers as well.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that because we definitely need it. And it's been, from what I've read, a real disaster in Canada. And we don't want that here in our diocese for sure. Yeah.
No, it's a very challenging thing. And I think people come at it saying we want to be merciful, we want to be compassionate, but it's misguided in the sense that we can be merciful and compassionate in other ways by protecting the sanctity of life and by accompanying people with good quality palliative care at the end of life. And I just think it's not accessible. So in Canada, there are studies saying that very few people actually have good quality palliative care at the end of life. We don't have enough practitioners, there's not enough money for it, funding, etc. So that's something where we should be really focusing our energies. And I'll leave you with one story. I had a gentleman who came to me and said, I want to die. I'm giving up. I don't want to do this anymore. He had these terrible wounds and pain, and it was completely awful suffering. So he would have qualified for that. And he said, I don't know what to do. I don't want to die. So he left it open and he said, I don't want to die. What can I do? But I feel like that might be my only option. And I said, let me treat you. Let me treat you with palliative care. Let's ease your suffering. Let's see what we can do. And we ended up treating his wounds more effectively. We had some specialists involved. I treated his pain. He wasn't even on any pain medication, this poor gentleman. And then he ended up living several more years very happily with a good quality of life, with his pain treated, his symptoms managed. And we were able to accompany him through that difficult time. So there's hope. There's certainly a lot of hope as in this Jubilee year as Pilgrims of Hope. There's hope in the fertility sphere with natural family planning and at end of life as well.